Let's look at the sketch workspace of Fusion 360, how it works and some of its tools. These are your different workspaces and will work in the solid workspace. Click on the green plus sign and then these origin planes will appear. Click on the one you want to work in. I'll click on the horizontal one. Notice that the grid has turned to face me. If you don't like it doing that, then go up to the Preferences menu, click on Design, and then unclick Auto Look at Sketch. If you unclick it, it won't turn to face you all the time. So let's make a rectangle. Click here, and before I make the second click, notice the text fields, and one of them is active. If I want to change those dimensions, then I need to just type the new ones and hit the Tab key to toggle over to the other text field and make it whatever dimension you want. And then enter. Note these symbols. These are constraints. See the constraints menu? If you click on it, you can see that those are horizontal and vertical constraints, meaning that as long as these constraints are here, no matter what dimension you put in here, those lines will still always remain parallel to each other. You can delete constraints. Select them and hit the delete key. And when you do this, then you are removing the design intent of keeping these lines parallel. So if I were to change that dimension, it only affects this line, not this line. And maybe that's what you want. Notice all the options we have here in the sketch palette. You can turn those on and off as you want. And I want to show you another example of how constraints work. I am going to make a circle and make another circle. And I haven't left the sketch, by the way. When I hit enter, I leave that particular tool. But until I click this green button, I haven't left the sketch. And that's significant because it means everything I'm creating is all on the same plane. And we'll talk about that more in a bit. But anyhow, if I want these circles to be concentric, then I will click the concentric constraint, click here, and enter. And that's what happened. So I want to show you the significance of sketches being on the same plane now. So let's say I've got these two rectangles, and then I want to trim these lines. I can only trim them while these are on the same plane. To trim them, I'll go to the Modify menu, click Trim, hover over the lines I want to trim, and then this will happen. If these rectangles were on two different planes, I wouldn't be able to do that. So you see I'm finishing the sketch, and if I want to draw another rectangle and I just start it the way I started the first one, this rectangle is not on the same plane. See that? There is no way that I can trim overlapping parts. because they are not on the same plane. Sometimes you don't want them on the same plane. For example, when you're doing a sweep operation. Now, if I want to put another sketch on the same plane as these, I need to go in and edit a sketch, and that will put me back on its plane. Right-click, choose Edit Sketch, and now anything I draw will be on that sketch. So you see, I can easily trim these lines. If I right-click and click on that drop-down arrow and choose Sketch Dimension, I can pull dimension lines off each sketch, and I may want to do that to change their length or to enter some sort of parameter. There are a lot of great tools here. I can make an arc, and notice how a lot of these have nested tools in there. So if I want a 3-point arc, that's how I would make it. And then make a face out of that sketch by adding a line to it. When you see the light blue, it means there's a face and you can extrude it. Mirror is an example of where you would need lines to be on the same plane. Let's say that I wanted to mirror this. Well, then I need to draw a mirror line, and it needs to be on the same sketch plane as this. Looks like I drew something extra I didn't need. I'll just hit delete. And now I'll go to Mirror, select the objects, select the mirror line, and hit Enter. I'm going to draw a little rectangle here, and I'm going to show you how the circular pattern works. Select the objects, select the center point, and then I can drag to make additional copies. And if I don't want some of these copies, I click the check mark. Of course, the goal of it is to use your sketches to create models from. Now notice that the sketch is still visible. That may not happen to you because you haven't changed your preferences. In Preferences, under Design, I've unchecked Auto Hide Sketch on Feature Creation because I don't like the sketches constantly disappearing. If you don't mind, then check that. And the way that you would see your sketches is to click here, and this hides and unhides them.